Hey friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm grateful to have you here for another mashup of Fandom Friday and Sassy Saturday. This week I'm featuring the Sassy Club The Rules stamp set. I'm also going to be using the slime frame die set for that little abstract blob. I also have a circle layers die plate that I'll be using, and I'm going to create my own sentiment with the Funhouse outfit die set. I also have this very old Sassy Club star stencil. It doesn't exist anymore on the shop. I'm so sorry. I don't know the name of it either to even help you out with that, but just grab a starry stencil you have in your stash or something else pretty fun to use if you want to replicate this card or any ideas from today's project. I've stamped my little kid here. He is relaxing because I'm going to create a happy summer card. So he's officially on summer break, summer vacation mode. And then his two fairy godparents, and they're going to be in fun pencil form. Again, student tier, because I'm actually making this for craft roulette as well this week. I was watching the episode while digging through my Sassy Club products to figure out what I was going to film. I'm filming this the night before and getting this out to you is probably going to be midday Saturday by the time this goes live. But I just really wanted to get back into crafting again. I've been traveling a lot, which I'm grateful to have a job that allows me to work remote when needed, but it does come with needing to travel sometimes. So the last 2 weeks I have traveled to Baltimore and then Austin or Baltimore, Maryland. That's on the East Coast for any of my friends not in the US. So on the east side of the United States. And then I went to Austin, Texas, which is very central in the United States. And I live all the way in California, which is on the very far west side. So I'm a little jet lagged, a little out of it. I felt like I haven't sat down, crafted, filmed, edited in a while. And I honestly, even though it's only been a couple weeks, I have felt really out of sorts, especially with this card. This is actually my second time coloring this image. I don't know if it's like the weather, but my Olo markers were just like begging to drip everywhere. And I love Olos. I love the colors. I love how they blend. But yes, you cannot color straight up and down for too long. They will build up ink and kind of splatter everywhere. And I was right here in this coloring in the mouth of my character, and it just bled everywhere. And I was devastated. So I thought, there was a little bit of me that was like, I'm not going to film. I'm just going to make this card whatever. I'm going to turn it in for craft roulette and just go to bed. Because I mean, it was still daytime when I was making this, but I was just like, I just felt like I had never made a card before. I also have another mistake later on that I felt so silly about. But I just threw it away in a fit of sadness and then stamped it again, and I had no problem this time. You saw that I had a little piece of scrap paper, so when I see my markers start to get a little too shiny, the buildup is about to come, I just kind of swipe it off on the scrap paper. I also have a little microfiber cloth and I just dab it on there as well. There was a little bleeding. I went outside the bottom part of his shirt, and I'm just going to use a white gel pen to cover that up. It's totally fine. It's not that big a deal. But I was feeling very like I've never colored before feelings when I was trying to color this card today, or the images for the card today. But I finished coloring in my little boy. He looks very relaxed. He's very cute. I loved this cartoon. I think I was in high school when this was out, but I still very much enjoyed Cartoon Network cartoons and Nickelodeon cartoons. I'm trying to be careful what I say. Lots of cartoons I really still enjoyed watching. I did have a very much younger sister than me as well. So I did watch a lot of Disney Channel and other channel cartoons with her. But the fairly, oh no, I almost said it, but these fairy godparents for this show, it was such a silly show, but I enjoyed this cartoon a lot. So when I saw the Sassy Club come out with this stamp set, I needed it. I added it to cart very quickly. And I just had a really fun time coloring these images in after the ordeal of having to restamp and recolor the face of my little boy here. But then I got into the groove. My coloring was feeling a little more natural. So I colored these pencils. I did look up an image online. I wasn't sure if they were green and pink, but the picture that I found of them, they were a yellow pencil, and then they just had their different colors associated with them as their erasers and, of course, their eyes. I did color this him a little bit more on the blue side of the green. I wish I would have went a little more lime green because I had a hard time finding an ink color that I wanted to create the rest of my card. So the green is not going to match perfectly with the background, but I think it's fine. It's still cute. I might go over it another time with some yellow. I don't know. It's fine. It's cute. I like them, and we're going to move on. So I fussy cut them out once I was done coloring them, and I'm just going to set them aside here while we work on our background. I have a piece of white cardstock that I'm just going to trim right in half using my fabulous guillotine trimmer. Shout out to Sassy's LLC for the gift. And I am going to use this star stencil. And the reason why I decided to use this one is because I like that they got smaller towards the middle, and then there's like a white space opening that kind of creates a focal point. You definitely don't need to do that for this card. You could just grab a repeating star stencil. Pretty Pink Posh has one. Missing Stamps has one. So just Google or go to scrapbook.com and put in star stencil and you'll find something similar. You probably have something already in your stash as well. Oh, here's another thing. I was, I guess, too lazy to like put magnets down or tape my stencil. I don't know how many times I aggressively stenciled and it lifted my stencil up and I just like got ink everywhere. I don't know. I was feeling all sorts of out of it with this card. And I again, I was going to just give up filming, but I thought, you know what? It's fine. I like showing mistakes and showing that I am not a perfect crafter, even though I could edit it out very easily. I do have frustrations and mess ups and want to just throw things away. I have this A2. Well, it's actually not quite A2. It's actually a little wider than A2. And so I went larger with my stenciling on the paper, and then I used my Pear Blossom Press card maker T-square ruler to center that onto that stenciled background because it's a little wider than A2. It's 5.5 inches tall, but I think it's actually 4.5 inches wide. So it's going to be a little larger than A2. So I did my best to get that nice and centered on my stencil. And I did my green one and then I did the pink one. So that way I can do alternating colors going, from creating this circle pattern on this background. So to glue them down, I'm going to create a card base out of just some thin cardstock that I have in my stash. And I trimmed that to be A2 in size. And here's another fun thing that I learned while I was gluing these together. Well, you'll see it when I get there. This video is a little longer because I did not edit out my what is going on here process, which you'll see in a minute. So I took the very largest of the connected circle, so that way I can build the circles going outwards from there. So I'm going to take my pink one, which is just like a little arch here, and I'm going to add some glue to the back of it, and then I will line it up because I did my best to get that green star circle centered from top to bottom, left to right. And so I'm going to add glue to this arch piece and I'm going to glue it to the top above the stars. But as I'm lining it up, I'm like, wait, the stars don't line up. And I'm like, did I not get my stencil straight? I don't understand. So I'm going back and forth. And I'm like, why isn't this matching? I don't understand. You can see I'm like, I do speed this up to be 1.5 times faster, but I'm like, why do none of these stars line up? I don't understand. And then I realized I stenciled my green upside down. I didn't put the stencil in the right direction. So when I stenciled my pink and I cleaned it off and then I put it onto the green paper, it was upside down. So none of my stars line up. So I already have glue on this pink one. I'm just going to glue it down because it's going in that space. That's where it needs to go. And then I'm going to stencil a whole new one and cut it out again, and there you will see my stars line up. I didn't keep that in because that was another, 5 minutes of getting another piece of paper, trimming it down, putting the stenciling it with green ink, die cutting it. Again, these seem like little bits of nothing, but I compounded on each other from the coloring mishap to not really securing my stencil well to stenciling it upside down. I just was like, I'm just going to get this card. I need this card to be done. But I do really like how it turns out. I think it turns out pretty fun. So I then glued down the correct green star stencil, and then I glued the other pink arch to the other side. And now I'm just going to jump in between the rest of the pieces. So I have the next layer inside of pink, and then I'm going to put green in the four corners. For these, I added glue to the corner and then added the pieces on. And then I am going to add the green next circle in because there's a few little bits of the stars poking through. And then I thought for fun, let's just use the pink white circle, even though it doesn't matter because there's nothing there. But it was alternating, and so I just grabbed the pink one. Since it is a little larger than the width of an A2, the 4 1/4, I'm just going to grab that guillotine trimmer again now that my glue is dried a little bit, and I'm just going to trim off that excess edges so that way my card front will be 4 1/4. And then I'll be able to move on to the next step, which is adding my cute things that I want to add to the front of my card. So since this is for craft roulette, I guess I should talk about how it meets craft roulette parameters. So it's a card for a student. I have my student on here, and I'm going to make my own sentiment about summer. So I figured this would be a fun card to give to a kid that's finishing up school, or maybe even a teacher. And then I am using modern colors. And when I think of modern colors, it gave me like mod fashion and like that fun, like retro pink and green with the white go-go boots vibe. So that's why I also thought of grabbing my fairy godparent stamp set because of the pink and green. They like have those fun bright colors. So that's why I picked this stamp set and those colors. And then you're supposed to have an element of clothing, which was very easy with my student here wearing his cute little outfit. And then we're supposed to have abstract blobs. So I grabbed those same inks that I used for stenciling, just put a bunch of ink onto some of the scrap white paper from my stenciled die cuts. And I die cut out 3 of each color, like little abstract blobs. And I'm going to line them up with their coordinating pencil godparent. And then now I decided for my sentiment, I thought I would do happy summer. So I used that fun house alpha die set and some pitch black cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. It really is a very nice black cardstock. It's my go-to. I have a huge pack of it and I use it all the time. So I die cut all of the letters that I needed twice, and I glued them together just to make them a little thicker. They kind of pop up a little bit off the card without having to use foam adhesive. I think ideally I would have done a 3rd layer for that dimension that I like to have, but it was a lot of letters and I was already over the card because of the mistakes. I just felt so silly. Like I hadn't been in my craft room really like a really good time session of just crafting for fun and not projects that I needed to get done before I got on a plane to Texas. I just felt so out of sorts. So I am very happy that I got this card done. I think it turned out really cute despite the hiccups along the way. But it did feel good just to like get this card done and put it behind me in the sense of, okay, this card had mistakes. You can't see any of them because it's fine. And I also, colored a new picture. But I felt like because I got this done, my next card is going to be that much, well, hopefully, knock on wood, that much easier to make and not feel like I'm running into speed bumps along the way. So I thought it'd be fun to just kind of push the letters together, let them be a little funky. And I put summer on the bottom and I put happy on the top. I used my repositionable tape to keep them together, add glue, and then attach it to the card. So then I rearranged my blobs a little bit. I thought it'd be fun to have them overlap some of the letters. So I'm going to glue those down now by just adding some glue to the little parts of the blobs around the edge and then a little in the middle. And then I'm just going to glue those down to the card base. So once I get those in place, with the pink ones first, I'll move on to the green. I liked, again, just having a little bit of overlap of those blobs onto the letter. I just thought that, made them stand out a little more. Once I was done adding those 6 blobs, I grabbed foam adhesive and added it to the back of my stamped images. So I'll add my pink Godparent pencil there, and then the green one on the left, and then him a little bit in the center, angled a bit so he looks very relaxing because it is summer now. And I will grab a white gel pen, add some highlights around the card. I have an A2 card base. I'm a top fold girly and I love top fold cards, so I have that, and I'm going to use my Trinity Stamp scoring tool to help get that nice and folded. I'm going to go ahead and just add my adhesive right to my card base because I'm just adding this right to the top. And that will finish off my card. I had looking back, it was a fun card to make. I think it's cute, it's simple, it's fun, it meets craft roulette. I had, hiccups along the way, but overall, I really like how it turned out. Let me know down below if you've had that experience too, when you're making a card and it just feels like nothing is going right. But at the end, we keep going and we just add more embellishments to cover the mistakes, right? Well, anyway, thanks for joining me today for this card. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!